Hey builders, Brick Radiop here again with another custom Lego review, this time a double feature. There was a release of two different Tarantino figure sets, one being by Citizenbrick with the Cops and Robbers set, which is based off of Reservoir Dogs, and the Minibigs SJBricks collab, which was the Pulp Fiction figures. These are the first Tarantino figures for me, but I know for sure in the past Citizenbrick has made at least one other figure with the bride from Kill Bill. Starting with Minibigs, the first figure is Uma Thurman's character from Pulp Fiction, whose character's name is Mia Wallace, and a bunch of different hijinks happen based around her, involving Vincent Vega, and of course, in the present day, there's a song based around having moves like Uma Thurman, based on her character dancing in Pulp Fiction. I'm going to assume none of these figures have any back head printing or any back printing at all, just because SJBricks tends to base their figures on classic Lego designs. So this is based off of some 80s or 90s looking figures. Kind of a bland figure, but also her character in the movie wears pretty plain clothes, so not much to complain about there. Let's move on to the next one. The figure packaged with her is Butch. There are two different bags with two figures in each. Other than Mia, all of them have one accessory. Butch here has a katana in silver. Again, no back printing at all, but it has a belt print, which is pretty nice on these sand blue legs, which is very cool. That's a great piece to have. And a blood spurt on the front of the shirt, because this is after he is beaten in the basement later in the movie. And of course, he goes back in to kill everybody with the katana. Afterwards, he steals someone's chopper, so it'd be kind of cool to build a chopper just for this figure. Face printing is pretty nice. For a more accurate look for this character, you can switch out those arms for dual molded ones. And after putting on those other arms, you can see they have those white molded sleeves. And honestly, these types of arms are some of my favorite parts, and they really improve minifigures. I do think getting these in bulk would be a bit expensive, so I definitely understand why they went with a solid white instead of using these. But just so you can see what it looks like, here it is. And let's move on to the next two. The next figure is Vincent Vega, who is one of the less generic figures out of the bunch because of his bolo tie. He has a belt buckle at the front there. That's other printing on the legs though. And again, no back printing at all. Has a butt chin and kind of a goofy smile. I really do wish that these figures would have come with normal heads, just so they could be a little bit more detail and more obvious what they are. Altogether, it kind of makes sense and you can put it together, but individually it's kind of hard to tell. One of the downsides of this figure is that it doesn't have the ponytail on it. It just has the longer hair in the front, which isn't necessarily inaccurate, but there might be some better options, like this hair piece, which has the slick back hair and a ponytail at the back. Personal taste again. And one more option is the rose hair from Star Wars. Ponytail in the back. It also has the longer hair in the front with it kind of flicking out, but it does kind of have bangs, which John Travolta didn't really have. But I just thought it'd be kind of funny to show this off. It's another good figure for the style. Let's move on to the last one, which is Jules, played by Samuel L. Jackson. Has a pistol, just like Vincent. Has the same leg printing and slightly different torso printing. This one has a normal tie instead of a bolo tie. And this one has the Harry Potter hair, which I don't really think is that accurate. I'll just show off a couple of different examples so you can see what they look like and see if you want to buy a different one. This is the standard Afro type piece. Kind of flat, honestly. This one is the T'Challa type of hair. Of course, since you changed the hair, the mutton chops might not line up as well. Might be a little bit better. And this is the hair from Finn from Star Wars. I think this might be the best match. I really like the texture on it, and I think it fits really well for Samuel L. Jackson from the movie. And again, I wish this had a more detailed face that wasn't classic styled, so I could have a definitive version of this character. And just for a quick comparison, another Samuel L. Jackson figure, we have a Nick Fury, With these out of the way, let's move on to Reservoir Dogs. The Cops and Robbers pack, as it's called, has some really nice packaging with a print that kind of matches one of the Reservoir Dog movie posters. The back has the Citizenbrick write-up with some jokes and different comments about their company. All of the figures in this video were pad printed just like Lego. And of course, you can buy these products at Citizenbrick.com and Minibigs.com. One of the downsides of buying Citizenbrick figures are that you have to end up damaging the packaging, trying to get the figures out. I'm going to see if I can salvage the back of this just because I really like the print. Let's get these out and get them on the stand. Starting out the set, here's Mr. Pink, played by Steve Buscemi. He's just in a suit, some wrinkles on the back. On the front, just a thin black tie, belt buckle, and a line continues the jacket onto the legs. Other than that, has the interesting face print with the darker eyes and the goatee, missing a tooth it looks like. I'm going to assume none of these figures are going to have back head print, but it's kind of fun to get a Steve Buscemi figure. It also comes with a Brick Arms pistol. Let's move on to one of the other figures. The next one is Mr. White. Again, sporting a suit. Looks like a lot of the same printing. Different face print though, some wrinkles to show that he's a bit older. And I just want to see if the prints are the same. I didn't notice it on my first pass through, but the torsos are different. There's a bit of a stomach line on Mr. White to show that he's a bit bigger than Steve Buscemi. And then also you can see with the front of the coat, there is a straighter line on this jacket, and this one has more of a curve. So I'm very impressed by the very subtle differences. On the back, you can also see different crease lines as well. I have to give Citizenbrick props here for changing up the figures a bit to make them more unique. Again, this one has another Brick Arms pistol. Let's move on to the next figure. Next one is Mr. Blonde, who is missing a jacket, just having the button-up shirt with the holster around his body, belt buckle on the front, and continue on to the back. And he comes with a straight razor. It is a custom piece for sure. He's got a funny face. And another fun fact, this character is brothers with Vincent Vega. They were going to make a spin-off movie for the both of them, but they just ended up getting too old, so it got cut. But that would have been kind of funny to see the two of them on screen together. Interesting enough figure. Let's move on to one of the others. This one is Mr. Orange. It's kind of funny, the figure comes sitting in the packaging just because it's after he's shot and brought to the warehouse, I'm sure. And again, features a similar print for the suit, but of course this one is bloody and the tie is a bit messed up just to show that he's been shot. For this figure, it does seem like the legs are the exact same as Steve Buscemi's, but on the torso, the fold lines are different than both other versions. And he has sweat dripping from his head, which is funny. And he has a pretty unique hair piece, which is very accurate to the character, played by Tim Roth. Again, Brick Arms pistol. And I just want to see something quick. I ended up buying one of the Minibigs blood splattered legs. So this pairs pretty well with the character. Maybe if you switched out the middle of the leg part just to keep the belt design and bottom of the jacket, that might look a little bit better. You'd be missing blood on the inside, but it would still be kind of accurate to have blood on the legs just because you'd be kind of dripping it everywhere. But kind of cool. Another option. Another great figure. Let's move on to the next one. The last figure for this review is Nice Guy Eddie. Has some hair in his chest. And a very nicely designed windbreaker, which is printed on a, I want to say lilac torso with a teal or somewhat blue color also printed on, black detailing with the stripes on the sleeves and a bunch of different creases. He has a pants print, which is only on the front. His face is pretty unique with a butt chin. no printing on the back of the head. And again, a brick arms pistol, but this one is a revolver of some sort instead. The colors of this jacket are a bit more muted in the movie, but I think having a more colorful option like this is just more fun for LEGO anyway. With all the figures out of the way, let's get into the final verdict. With this review, I would just love to say that this is my favorite part about custom LEGO, is the ability to get somewhat obscene figures that LEGO would never make themselves, especially in this case with figures from Tarantino movies, because obviously some of his movies are some of the most violent and not LEGO appropriate ones around, and it's always kind of funny to see somewhat taboo subjects like this in LEGO form. I would say there are some pros and cons of both of these sets. With the Citizenbrick ones, they just end up being somewhat generic figures in their suits and everything, but it's not Citizenbrick's fault that that's just the design of their characters in the movie. And for the Pulp Fiction figures, having them be that classic style is kind of disappointing, but it's still great to see those figures made in some form. And I'm a personal fan of Minibigs and SJBricks, so I had to get these anyway. On top of that, it did come with a custom stand, which is great. You can have a way to display those pretty easily. For Citizenbrick, the standout is their packaging, like always. I love their custom prints. They always make for great little art pieces. One of the downsides for both is obviously the price. This one is $75 for 4 figures with somewhat minimal printing, and this was $90 for really great prints that are pretty unique and could be used in other different places. I really love the windbreaker. That's a really great piece. But if you're not a Tarantino fan, these might not be the best options for you just because of that price. Maybe you could wait and there might be a sale at some point down the line. I know these Pulp Fiction figures are pretty limited. I'm not sure if they're still available at this moment, but if they are, go to minibigs.com to get those. And there are at least 100 more of the Reservoir Dogs figures still available on Citizenbrick site, so if you like them, go and check those out there. If you like custom LEGO or other LEGO themed videos, definitely check out my channel. Comment what you think of these figures, which ones are your favorites. Please subscribe, like this video. I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.